jokes aside, you know how niggas be like, I'm this and that for life. This and that for life. I'm always for life, nigga. This a blow. Hey, yo, Madara. Here go a class for you, my nigga. 140 for the road. The world turned its back over. I'm a cripple. We got soldiers. He got soldiers, but I got different ones. Ain't no way out. I tell you what. Don't pray for nothing. Nothing in the curse. We can't forgive us for forbidden. Remain in the churches. Trust in the Lord, but please forgive me for the times that I did. If rain is given, have your respect to your apprentice. Be about your business. This loyalty to damn sinners. Look, trying to pick up with a blind friend. They said there'll be many mansions. I'm just grinding for my time share. The devils and clan fair. They hunt you like bad pal. But ain't no getting out the game like you munchie. You take that oath, it's a Dundee. They try to deal death to a priest. You won't make it out in one piece. So you can stand. Just make sure you got the heart. Say your name 3 times and it's death to his heart. So how you feel about this truth I done shown? This ain't the life you think, little nigga. I should won't. Even your own people go disown. And the Lord said they hate you for my name. So you better keep it on. Ain't no more guessing. Ain't no more questions. Make sure my election till I'm tucked away like George Jetson. Murder for capital 9. Murder at the Capitol. The world in amazement. We like fuck 'em, raise it. I pity those watching life as it go by. Be giving mercy in this life, I don't know why. It comes smoke, never try to. The dead on my brother be the dead. That's all I don't. The photo salute my nigga. They like how you stay focused. I told them I'm motivated cause of you, my nigga. Brotherhoods and weapons, still got weapons on the scene. Now never you my niggas like Bishop did right here. Never mind in all beliefs. They under anesthesia. Shorty said she leaving, said she wanna let that love go. So I let that love grow. But if I bring you to my bed, that's a blood oath. So, how you feel about this truth I done show? This ain't the life you think, little nigga. I should won't. Even your own people gon' disown. And the Lord said they hate you for my name, so you better keep it on. Yeah.
All right, shalom, Israel. Yahweh Bashim Yashai Barakatha to all the brothers. Yahweh Shema Lathan Bashim Yashai to all the sisters. We are the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, which was started out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General YAHANNA. All right, today is Tuesday's night Brotherhood class. What's going on, Officers Abadia? Shalom. Yahweh Bashim Yashai Barakatha, Adawan.
Yahweh Bashim Yashai Barakatha. What's going on, YouTube?
Khan, sir, everything good?
Khan, I'm just driving home from the slavery, trying to get it in.
Khan. Most High in Christ, earth, the water for tuning in.
No sweat.
Everybody to the chat. I see you got a couple people in the chat. Shalom, Kapah, Banat Yahawada, Yahbashim Shai Barakatha. Salaki sis. Yahweh Shema Lathan Bashim Yahshai. To Janice Bell, Yahweh Shema Lathan Bashim Yahshai. The water for tuning in, sis. Make sure you guys sign in. Hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. Share this video. All right. Again, this is Tuesday's night Brotherhood class. All right. Every Tuesday night in the I.S.U.P.K, brothers around the world are teaching Brotherhood to Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. All right. We're the I.S.U.P.K. We are not affiliated with any other Hebrew Israelite group, any other Christian organization. All right. The I.S.U.P.K, this is the home of the truth, teaching the truth of the Bible since 1969. All right. Teaching Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans that you are the children of God. Not only are you the children of God, but you are in a covenant with the Most High. And you are required to obey Him. You are required to keep the law, statutes, and commandments. And these laws, statutes, and commandments are all surrounded around brotherhood. All right? A lot of us got a Bible just sitting at home. Right? Some of these Bibles are just sitting in a corner somewhere collecting dust. But what you find in that book is the records of the Israelites, the records of their history, how they dealt with one another, how to deal righteously with one another, and some of the names that are remembered for being honorable men, honorable women, right? And that's a good thing to want if you're Black, Hispanic, or Native American, to be remembered on this earth for doing something good, for doing something honorable, right? And we're going to get into that a little more as we get through this class. So starting off, I got a quick article I'm going to share. All right. Salaki Officer Zabadi, is there anything you wanted to bring out?
You could just carry on.
Come, sir. All right. So I got an article I'm going to share. This article is on COVID. All right. Not last weekend, but the weekend before, a powerful priest who's here today was prophesying to the people out in Montreal, letting them know about all the destruction that the Most High has coming for this nation. I understand a couple people are going around, and some people might not be thinking about COVID. It's been going on so long, some people might be getting a little comfortable, but the real priests and prophets of the Most High understand something. These plagues, this famine, it is here to stay. It's not going anywhere. The Most High is bringing destruction on this kingdom for what they've done to the children of God, for the enslavement of Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, the mistreatment of Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. And there's something that's required of us in order to get out of this captivity. You understand? You read in the book of Zechariah, chapter 2 and verse 1, it says, "Gather yourselves together, O nation not desired." And that's something that we've been missing in our community. All right. So getting into this article, this is Slovakia. This article is titled "Out of Control. Saskatchewan doctors say record reported COVID-19 death toll in October. Sign of dire situation." Now, we all know COVID's been going on for a while now. And the province of Saskatchewan is saying they're in a dire situation and that COVID is out of control.
Most High in Christ.
Most High in Christ. Barakatha Yahweh Yahweh Shai. Right? So this article goes on to read, some Saskatchewan physicians are working nearly every day last month, says Canadian Medical Association. There were at least 156 COVID-19 related deaths reported in Saskatchewan in October, beating January 2021 for the worst month during the pandemic, despite vaccines not being widely available at the time. Saskatchewan reported one new death on Sunday, October 31st, bringing the total number of deaths reported in the province during the entire pandemic to 851. Right? So, again, Salaki, what's going on, Barakiala? Yabashim and Shabrakatha. What's going on, Warrior? Calm. So we're just getting into. I'm just reading on a quick article. Just letting people know that COVID is here to stay, and this is good if you're Black, Hispanic, or Native American. You understand? It's not good if you're not obeying him.
Right.
But it's definitely good if you are seeking the destruction of Babylon. Right? The scriptures call this place, which is spiritually Sodom and Egypt. It's a place of confusion. It's a place of bondage, right? It's a place of pedophilia, place of homosexuality. And it's a place that oppresses the children of God. It's a place that needs to be destroyed. And just like you can read about what happened to the Egyptians, just like the Most High destroyed the Egyptians, sending plagues, the Most High is going to destroy Babylon. You understand? You can read about it in the book of Ecclesiasticus, where it says the Most High sends evil spirits. The Most High does all these things. He sends evil spirits to carry out his orders, carry out his commands, his punishments, his judgments. And that's exactly what's happening in Canada today. It's exactly what happened to Saskatchewan for the month of October. You understand? This is a result of oppressing Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. And this place must be destroyed. Right? So, article goes on to read, just gives some data on some reported deaths. It says the record raises red flags for physicians and doctors who have been watching the pandemic unfold. Many of them have either been at bedsides watching it happen or hearing from colleagues about the situation in hospitals. The numbers that we're seeing now and the deaths that we're seeing go along with the fact that COVID is really very out of control in the province, said Catherine Smart, president of the Canadian Medical Association. Salaki. Goes on to read, she was raised in Saskatchewan and said it's distressing to watch the province become the worst hit province across several unfortunate categories. As of Friday, there had been 2.9 deaths per 100,000 people over the past 7 days. According to the Government of Canada, Saskatchewan also holds top spot among provinces for the rate of active cases, 201 per 100,000 people, and the rate of new cases over the past 7 days, also as of Friday. Now I'm going to stop there with the article. I just wanted to bring that out to just to inform people that this pandemic's still here. This plague is still here. You understand? It is here and it is not going anywhere until the Most High decides to stop it. And just a couple days ago, what are we on now? We're on November 2nd. If I'm not mistaken, October 31st was Halloween. And you had Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans go out to celebrate Halloween. Go out to party, go out to, I'm not sure if people were trick-or-treating this year, but and I definitely know that people did not stop this festivity, did not stop this holiday. A lot of our people are out here celebrating these things, and the Most High is not with us. The Most High will not be with anybody who is keeping these holidays that go against the Most High. Barak Yalla, can you grab Amos chapter, 5 and verse 21, Baba Kasha? Just going to bring that out really quick. I understand. I'm just kind of bringing this out as a preface to what we're going to get into today. I'm going to touch on a little bit about HaKanukah. HaKanukah is coming up November 28th. And it is very important for our people to celebrate these holy days, these feast days that the Most High wants us to celebrate. This whole book that we read is about brotherhood. It's about a family. It's about a nation of people uniting, about a nation of people working together. And because of this slavery and oppression, we've been taught that holidays like Halloween are going to do something for us. Celebrating Christmas is going to do something for us. Well, as you see, you celebrated Halloween and COVID is here to stay. There are real issues going on in our communities, and celebrating things like Halloween is not going to fix our issues. Right? Salaki Braka Allah. Go ahead and read that when you got it.
The book of Amos, chapter 5, verse 21. I despise your feast days.
God, the Most High hates and despises our feast days. You understand? Whether it be any feast, any holiday that is made from this oppressor, especially this devil who the Most High hates. You understand? The Most High will not be with us if we follow his traditions. You understand? When you read in the book of Genesis, he said that he created us in the image of God. Right? He created us to be able to reason. Right? To be able to receive instructions. Right? To be the ability to be able to follow orders. And all throughout this book, you see the Most High commanding us to do things. Telling us, do this, don't do this, do that, don't do this. Because he understands that some things are good for us and some things lead us to death. Smoking cigarettes is going to lead us to death. Right? Being a drug addict is going to lead us to death. How many people do you know lost their lives at the age of 16 because they overdosed on ecstasy? You understand? These are common things that we hear in our community. And the Most High doesn't want this for us. So he gave us instructions. Read that again, Barak Yallah.
I despise your feast days.
Right. And this is the Most High telling us something. Right? The Most High will not be with us for celebrating Halloween. Celebrating Halloween is not going to stop COVID. Celebrating Halloween is not going to stop black on black crime. Celebrating Halloween isn't going to stop abortion. You understand? These things are just distractions. These things take us away from the Most High. You understand? So let's get into our topic a bit. Barak Yallah, can you grab, we're going to read in the book of Maccabees. Can you grab First Maccabees chapter 1 and verse 1, Baba Kasha? All right. Another shout out to the chat. Shalom, Sister Kalpa. Yal Shemal Athan Bashim Al Shat. The water for tuning in, sis.
Salakia Ak.
Come on, concert.
Like, what you're bringing out is extremely heavy, right? Because if you go on cp24.com right now, which is a news channel it's a Canadian news channel, they're going to tell you that the province of Ontario today reported 400 new COVID cases, right? So extremely heavy what you're saying. Halloween did not stop COVID, right? Halloween did nothing for Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans who are dying daily in the ghettos. It's just a little trinket to kind of let you forget about your oppression for like 2 seconds, and you wake up the next morning and you're still being oppressed. Salakia.
Oh, God, sis, Salakia. And if I could add on, something you guys were bringing out in scripture breakdown class, Canada, I think Canadians spent something like $550 million towards candy and costumes.
Right.
And they were comparing that to spending, I think, something like $100 million on Canada's space program. You want to fix issues in the black community? Don't celebrate Halloween and give your money to your people. You understand? Don't waste your money on this oppressor's holidays and actually put your money to something that is going to build your community. Right? Salakia, Officer Zabadia, you sent me something earlier, which I thought was heavy.
God.
Let me see if I can pull that up really quick.
Salaki, was that the little video clip I was showing you about Brotherhood?
Khan.
Yeah, that thing right there, man. Boy, I tell you that it's sad to see the state of black people, right? Like, we got so many millionaires and damn near billionaires amongst us that we could have already, now, not to say that stop the oppression, but if we could have been built already another Black Wall Street. We could have built 1,000 Black Wall Streets already with all the rich of Israel that we have. And they're not paying tithes to Commanding General YAHANNA, right? Commanding General YAHANNA, he's raising up black men to black, Hispanic, and Native American men to go and feed their people, as well as sisters, because the sisters, they play a very vital, important role in our nation as well.
Khan, sir. Khan, Slaki, this work isn't possible without our sisters. You understand? Having sisters to be able to support these brothers, right? To allow us to go to war and do what we need to do for our nation. Like that's everything. Right? I think it says in Ecclesiasticus that a righteous sister will add to a man's stature. You understand? She'll add to the things that a righteous man will be able to do. And right now, our nation needs men who are ready to stand up and fight against this oppression that we've been in. Right? I got that link. I'm going to pull that up really quick. Thawada for sending that to me. Salakia Brakia Allah, keep holding that for me. We're going to get to that. But this is some of the sad stuff that we hear in our community.
Right. It's definitely sad to hear that, brother. See that, right? And you'll understand as the viewers watch, right? They'll understand, because black people made this brother. This brother wouldn't have his riches if it wasn't for black people. And then he does what? Listen, Kanye West had a line in a song one time, right, where he said, as soon as he gets on, he leave your ass for a white girl. And it's like that's what this brother is doing.
Damn right. Damn right. Slack, I'm gonna play the video and then I'll talk on it a bit more.
Don't know, but you give a lot of money privately. That's not something that you like to talk about. I'm privy to it. Park over in Queens, just different things you've done. Stuff. You know, the financial model behind this social justice and prison reform stuff that's taking place, right? You've had to, defend yourself because you're financially well off. You've had the resources to defend yourself. I think, look, anything that goes on in the culture with people that you already interact with, you kind of have an interest in it slightly. You know what I'm saying? Because it's happening to somebody you met or you know him, and you looked out for him in that case. And then I don't know if it makes it his full responsibility to do those things. Like, I try not to involve myself when you say quietly I do these things, because I don't want anyone to feel like it's my responsibility to do it, because it's not. It's
Salakia. This brother said it is not my responsibility to help our people. Like, and this is something I love about these scriptures. To me, it's so simple to understand. When you think about a family unit, you think about a family. You got a loved one, a brother, a sister, a cousin. You understand? And you see that loved one who's in need. You don't look at them and say, it's not my responsibility to help you. You understand? Like that's such a cold statement to make. You understand? Like Christ told us to love your neighbor as yourself, to have some compassion for one another, to look at another black man and say, man, I wouldn't want to be in that position. I wouldn't want to be going through what you're going through. I wouldn't want that done to me. So if there's something I can do to help your situation, why wouldn't I help you? You understand? Christ said the law hinges on these two things. Everything was about brotherhood. Love the Most High first with everything, and to love your neighbor as yourself, to have some compassion for people, to show some brotherhood, show some sisterhood. But this brother is going to turn around and make a comment and say, it's not my responsibility to help my people. Right? And this is the brotherhood that we have to restore amongst blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Something we lack is brotherhood, sisterhood, knowing how to treat one another, knowing how to interact with one another. You understand? These things would fix our community, not celebrating Halloween. All right? So we're going to jump into some scriptures. We're going to go to the book of First Maccabees, starting at verse 1. First Maccabees chapter 1 and verse 1. All right. This is the book of First Maccabees chapter 1 and verse 1. And it happened after that Alexander, son of Philip, the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Chittim, had smitten Darius, king of the Persians and Medes, that he reigned in his stead, the first over Greece. Right? So this is just speaking a little bit on Chittim would also be known as Italy today, right? The Italians. You have the Persians and the Medes, right? Those are the sons of Elam, right? This book is about to speak on some of the history of what was taking place during this time, right? Verse 2 says, and made many wars, and won many strongholds, and slew the kings of the earth. So what was going on in this time is that the Greeks were starting to rise in power, right? This is the rise of the Greek Empire. All right, verse 3 says, and went through to the ends of the earth and took spoils of many nations, insomuch that the earth was quiet before him, whereupon he was exalted, and his heart was lifted up. Right? So again, just letting you know, this is the rise of the Greek Empire. Right? Just letting you know that he went around, started conquering nations, started conquering the earth. When it says the earth was quiet before him, right? Just letting you know that these Greeks, the sons of Esau, the Idumeans, the Edomites the Bible speaks of, this nation was blessed with the sword. All right, they were blessed with the power or the blessing to go around and kill and conquer and be skilled at war. And you see that playing out in this time of history. Right? Verse 4 says, and he gathered a mighty strong host and ruled over countries and nations and kings who became tributaries unto him. You understand? And it's no different like you see this American empire today. Right? You see how these Edomite nations rule the earth today. Right? They go around collecting taxes, collecting tributaries. Before you even get your check, you damn near lose a quarter of it. You don't see a quarter of it. Right? Depending on where you live and how much you're making, some people are losing half their check. You understand? How these people rise in power, they go around with the sword, destroying, killing, raping, robbing, murdering people, and then oppressing the people in their kingdom. You understand? This is what they do. Slaki Braki Allah, can you keep reading for me?
Salaki.
We're in First Maccabees chapter 1. We're going to start at verse 5. Or we're at verse 5.
First Maccabees. And after these things, he fell sick and perceived that he should die.
Keep reading.
Verse 6. Wherefore he called his servants, such as were honorable, and had been brought up with him from his youth, and parted his kingdom among them while he was yet alive.
God, so you see this rise of this Greek empire come up, and then you had this king, after going around conquering different nations, he came to find out that he was going to die. Right? He got sick. He was getting ready to die, had a short time to live. And during this time, he started to divide his kingdom, to start passing over rulership to the different people that he wanted in power, the different people he trusted to kind of carry on his legacy. Understand? So he gave these different kings power to rule the kingdom that he gained. Right? Keep reading.
Verse 7. So Alexander reigned 12 years and then died.
Right. And so he had 12 years to live. Right? He had 12 years to live, which is a short time to live after going around conquering all these nations. Right? You don't get much time to, I guess, enjoy things or enjoy the spoils of your war, to live lavishly like these devils live today. Right? He had 12 years to live. And so again, during that time, he started handing out different responsibilities to people he wanted in power.
Shalom, everyone. Yabashim Yashabakata.
Shalom Satham, Yabashim Shabbat. All right, we're in the book of First Maccabees, chapter 1, and we're on verse 8. Baba Kasha, keep reading.
Verse 8. And his servants bare rule everyone in his place.
Read.
Verse 9. And after his death, found upon himself with their sons after that, many years, and he was multiplied in the earth.
Right. So again, this is just a quick history, right, of what was going on during this time. And so after this king was getting ready to die, right, he started to give out some power to people he trusted. And as he did that, great evil started to multiply on the earth. Right? Like it says in the book of Proverbs, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. Right? But when the wicked rule, the people mourn. Because when you have unrighteous leadership, the earth feels it. Right? You see the leadership today, everybody's walking around miserable. Everybody's walking around mourning. Tired from working 60 hours a week. worried about how to get diapers for their kids. You understand? The earth is in mourning. The earth is being oppressed. And that's the same thing that was going on during that time. Right? Drop that. Let's jump to book of 1 Maccabees chapter 2 and verse 64. Or we'll start at 1 Maccabees 2 and verse 50. And Trooper Safan, can you grab 1 Maccabees chapter 3 and just hold verse 1 for me, Baba Kasha?
Come.
1 Maccabees chapter 2 verse 50. Now therefore, my sons, be ye zealous for the law, and give your lives for your fathers.
Read that again.
Now therefore, my sons, be ye zealous for the law, your lives for the covenanters.
Right. Now, because of things like Christianity, right, these different religions, Christianity, Judaism, the Muslim religion, Buddhism, right, all this different garbage that our people are following and listening to. When we look at the Bible, we look at it like it's some fairy tale. But what nobody ever taught us was that this is a history book. This is the records of our people. And as we read in the book of 1 Maccabees chapter 1, you're reading about the history of a time where the Grecians were in power. The Greeks were in power. The Edomites were in power. You understand? That's something that is so important for us to understand. Right? Christ told us that you can't mix old wine with new. All the things that we thought we knew about the Bible, we got to throw out the window. Anything any pastor ever told us, your mom, your auntie, your grandma, anybody who ever lied on the Bible, these are things you got to throw out the window. Right? You got to start fresh. Read this book from a fresh perspective. Be born again. Be a new creature. Right? Like a baby learning how to live in the world. Right? Like a baby weaned from his mother's milk. Right? Just trying to live, trying to get some life. That's how we got to approach these scriptures. That's how we got to approach learning to be good brothers, learning to be good sisters. Right? Throwing everything out that we thought we knew. Read that verse from the top.
1 Maccabees chapter 2 verse 50. Now therefore, my sons, be ye zealous for the law, and give your lives for the covenant of your fathers.
Right. Not only is this a history book, but this is a book of law, of instructions. Right? You're Black, Hispanic, or Native American. You got to be zealous for the law, passionate about the law, passionate about keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments. You want to know how your forefathers were interacting with one another? Read through this Bible. Read about this history that we had. Right? How we're supposed to treat one another. The Most High told us how to love our brothers, how to love our wives. Right? How to judge one another righteously, how to rule and run a nation, how to govern a people. The Most High gave us these instructions. And we, as a people, as Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, this is the culture that we have to come back to. Right? In Canada, growing up, you were taught that every year celebrate Halloween. This is something that's good for you. This is something that's beneficial for you. But when you start to understand who you are as a people, you'll come to find out you have a very rich culture. You have a very rich culture. You have a very rich identity. And if you would obey the Most High and follow him, these other nations would look at you as a wise and understanding people. If you would love your wives the way this Bible told you to love your wives, other nations would look at you as, oh, this is a people I can learn something from. You understand? Read that one more time.
First Maccabees chapter 2:50. Now therefore, my sons, be ye zealous for law, and give your lives for the covenant of your fathers.
Come. And not only do we have to be zealous about this law, we got to understand who we are as a people. Right? We're Black, Hispanic, and Native American. You have to unite with one another. Unite to your culture. Black and brown, Mexicans, Colombians. You understand? People from Honduras, Ecuador, Brazil, Panama, the West Indies. Right? All of our people have to unite and come back to our own culture. Right? Drop that, jump down to, or keep reading, Baba Kasha. We'll read down to verse 52.
Verse 51. Remembrance what acts our fathers did in their time,
Come.
so shall you receive great honor in an everlasting name.
Come. I was thinking about this earlier today, right? Like Trooper Satham. Do you know how many people, do you know how many Christians there are today?
Lots, sir, but if I'm not mistaken, it's the largest so-called religion in the world. Is
Come.
it? Or is it?
I think, let me look this stat up really quick. It says, this is just a Google search. This says nearly 1/3 of the world's population is considered to be Christian, right?
Concept.
Now, I'm not going to look up how many Muslims there are in the world, and I'm not going to look up how many people are practicing Judaism, but if you were to add those three religions together, like the world calls them, what do they call it? The Abrahamic religions,
Okay.
right? Like the world identifies these three religions as the Abrahamic faith, right? Read that verse one more time, Barak Allah.
Verse 51. Call to remembrance what our fathers did in their time, so you receive great honor in an everlasting name.
You know who has an everlasting name? Barak Allah, your forefather Abraham. That's your family. That's your forefather. And the whole world recognizes his name today. You understand? Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, you got to recognize who you are as a people and how much influence you have on this earth. Not only is everybody today want to act black, be black, dress like us, walk like us, sing like us, dance like us, invent like us, right? I saw something going around not too long ago about the black woman that invented your Google Maps, right? Your GPS system. You understand? We got to recognize who we are as a people because the whole earth recognizes Abraham for something that he did. All right, keep reading.
Verse 52. Was not Abraham found faithful in temptation, and it was imputed unto him for righteousness?
Calm. Like the whole world knows our forefather Abraham. And that's not something to take lightly. Like there's a reason these devils don't tell you who you are. There's a reason these oppressors don't want you to know who you are. How powerful you are on this earth. Christ said you are gods. You are powers walking on this earth. You understand? Like we have a very rich culture. And Halloween isn't a part of it. Right? We don't have to hold our heads down because we're looking at our family members telling them we don't celebrate birthdays and Christmas anymore. Like we should be holding our heads high as Yasharallah, princes of the power. Everybody else should be looking at us as the light. But there's just one thing that's required of us. You understand? And it's not something that's grievous, like the scriptures say. It's really not a hard thing not to celebrate Halloween. To save your money for a night, and instead of spending $16 on some candy to pass out to some kids, why don't you buy a nice jerk chicken and rice and peas meal for yourself? I would much rather have that and feast with my family than hand out candy to some devils that come ringing on my doorbell. And we have our own culture, and this is what we have to come back to. Right? Jump down to Shalaki, Trooper Satham. Grab First Maccabees 3 and verse 1.
First Maccabees chapter 3 and verse 1. Then his son Judas, called Maccabeus, rose up in his stead. Verse 2. And all his brethren helped him, and so did all that held with his father, and they fought with cheerfulness the battle of Israel.
Come. Now we got to understand that in this time of history, right, again, we're reading about the history of our people. And during this time, as these Greeks rose up in power and started to oppress different nations, they were also oppressing the children of Israel. Right? They forced them to throw away their culture, throw away their identity, their customs. Right? They told us that we would be killed if we circumcised our kids on the 8th days. You understand? The scriptures say there's no new thing under the sun. You had our Gadite brothers and sisters going to residential schools, and the first thing these devils did was cut off their braids, right? Cut their hair, tried to get rid of their identity, their culture. This is what this devil does. Right? Read verse 2 again.
First Maccabees chapter 3 verse 2. And all his brethren helped him, Salakia.
All his brethren what?
Helped him.
All his brethren helped him. Right? We just played that quick clip of 50 Cent. Right? Judas Maccabeus, his brothers weren't looking at him saying, you know, I'm rich, I'm doing well now, I'm not going to help my people. No, these brothers gathered together, they united and went to war for the same cause. They saw a nation that was oppressing their people, and they gathered together. Right? Keep reading.
And so did all they that held with his father. And they fought with him cheerfully the battle of Israel.
Come. Right? Like what? Every year in Canada they do. I don't even know what that memorial is, but I think it's once a year they have. I think it's Remembrance Day. They pull out some poppies or something like that.
Come on.
And they what do they call it? They say, let's have a moment of silence, right, for the people that fought for us. They tell everybody to shemai, to be quiet for a couple minutes and memorialize the people that fought their war. Well, understand something, Black man, Hispanic man, and Native American man. You also had forefathers who fought wars. You also had forefathers that achieved great things. We don't need to be memorializing our oppressors and the wars that they win. We have our own identity, our own culture. That we really got to grow up and throw away all these feast days or all these holidays that we were taught in Canada. Because they have absolutely nothing to do with us.
Salakia, Ak, if I may.
Come, sir.
Hey, Shalom Troopers Satham, Yahweh Bashim Yashar Barakatha. Salakia, it was heavy what you just brought out, right? Bringing up the oppressors Remembrance Day, right? That's supposed to be in remembrance of World War I, and they throw in World War II, right? Now they want Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans to stand up and remember some dead oppressor, right? Because he fought some war that had nothing to do with Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, right? Those same oppressors that died in that war, right? When they were brothers in that war, like the Tuskegee Airmen, those brothers faced oppression when they got back to America, right? There were natives who, the children of Gad, who were doing the coding, because we know Gad is a great hunter, right? Gad is a man that lived off the land in Canada, and they used the Gadites for coding to break the codes of the Germans. Those same oppressors were happy that the Native American children were in residential schools. If you think about it, not to say the turn of the century, but in the 60s, they were still taking Native Americans from reservation and putting them in residential schools where these children were being raped, molested, murdered, abused, tortured, right? Everything heinous that the oppressor does, they were doing it to these children. The war, World War II was over, that was over like 40 years before the 60s. But we're supposed to stand up and remember some dead oppressor who didn't care if we had rights, didn't care if we lived, didn't care if we survived, didn't care what happened to our babies. And we're supposed to remember that. Well, I'm going to remember what they did to the Native Americans, what they did to the so-called Hispanics and so-called Blacks.
Damn right, sir.
Con.
Damn right. Like Salaki, like, so why did the commanding general YAHANNA and all the brothers that are above us,
damn right,
all the generals, because they're really waking our people up, right? Christ said that Salaki, how does that go? That a house built on a solid foundation, a house that isn't built on sand, won't wash away when the storms come. And you see this house that commanding general YAHANNA has built. Right, this is a solid house. This is a solid foundation. You got brothers waking up all over the world recognizing what we need to do as a people. Right? Waking up brothers showing them that, why are you remembering World War I? Why are you honoring some devil who had your ancestors in chains? Was hanging your ancestors from a tree, burning them alive and feeding them to pigs? Like, why are you memorializing these devils? Right, like Salakia, like our people are sick.
Nonsense.
Right, like that's a straight up illness. That's a sickness.
Stockholm syndrome.
Right, Stockholm syndrome. Which again, why I love these scriptures so much. Christ said, I came for those who are in need of a physician. Right? These devils don't need a physician. This is their kingdom. But that black man who stands up and is showing some respect and honor to some devil who had his ancestors in chain, like that brother is sick. That brother needs a physician. The people who are out celebrating Halloween, you guys need physicians. You understand? Like we really got to come out of the ways of our oppressor and unite as a people. To look at another Black, Hispanic, and Native American man and show some compassion for one another. To say, I understand the struggle that you're going through. Let's fix this. Let's work together. Right? Finish out verse 3 for me, Baba Kasha.
Come. Maccabees chapter 3, verse 3. So he got his people great honor, and put on a breastplate as a giant, and girt his warlike harness about him, and he made battle, protecting the host with his sword.
This is what you need to do, Black man, Hispanic man, and Native American man. Put on all black and get in the I.S.U.P.K. Right? Join the Lord's army. Fight with your brethren. Fight with your brothers. Stand up for those that are oppressed. And do it according to how the Most High commands you to do it. Right? So like Brock, y'all grab what's that precept I want? Can you grab Leviticus chapter 26?
Wakan.
Let me see what Leviticus 26. Yeah, grab Leviticus 26, start at verse 1, Baba Kasha.
This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 26:1. Ye shall make no idols or graven image, neither rear you up, neither shall ye set up any image of do it.
God. Right? We shouldn't be out here celebrating Christmas. We shouldn't be out here being Christians, Muslims, Buddhists, right? Worshiping all these vain gods, these vain idols, these things that are meaningless, that have no power, right? Keep reading.
Verse 2. Ye shall keep my Sabbath and my sanctuary. I am Lord.
God. You're Black, Hispanic, and Native American. You need to be keeping the Sabbath, keeping the high holy days. Not out here celebrating Halloween, but opening up the book of Leviticus chapter 23, reading about the feast days that you're supposed to be keeping, the holy days that you're supposed to be keeping. Keep reading.
Verse 3. My step to keep my commandments.
God.
Verse 4.
Slack, slow down.
And I will give you
Now the Most High is telling you, you're Black, Hispanic, and Native American, if ye listen to me, if you do as I command, if you follow my instructions, you understand? You listen to what I say and do them. Jump down to verse 6.
This Leviticus chapter 26, verse 6. And I will give you peace in the land, and ye shall light, and none shall make you afraid.
God.
And I will rid evil beasts out of the land, and they shall sword your land.
God. This is how you stop oppression. You unite with your brothers and you obey the Most High. Like, how many of your family members are walking around saying, "I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired"? Like, there is no peace in our community. There is no peace for Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans inside of this oppression. If you want peace, you need to obey the Most High. You want safety, you need to obey the Most High. Finish out verse 7, Baba Kasha.
You shall chase your enemies, and it shall fall before you by the sword.
God. And if you obey the Most High, you will win wars. Esau won't have the power to oppress you. These other nations won't have the power to oppress you. Like you read in the book of Exodus, you see that the Most High is known for what he did to all those nasty Egyptians. The whole world knows about the plagues that the Most High brought to the Egyptians, the destruction that he brought. And if you want that weapon on your side, you need to obey him. Like we have the greatest weapon on earth. You understand? Captain, what does Captain Katazan say? Your hands are too short to hotbox with God. Like there is no power out there that can match the power of the Most High. So why would you fight against him? That makes no sense. Like these pastors going around telling you the laws are done away with. You don't need to obey the Most High. You can do what you want, come as you are, stay as you are. Like those garbage philosophies and doctrines of devils, we got to throw all that out the window. You understand? So, Thumb, let's jump back to First Maccabees. Where were we at?
So, so 1 Maccabees chapter 3, verse 4.
Let's jump to, or go ahead and read verse 4.
Come on. First Maccabees chapter 3, verse 4. In his act, he was like a lion, and like a lion, walked roaring for his prey.
Khan, and this is the spirit we're supposed to be in. You understand? Trooper Satham is a lion. Rakia Allah is a lion. Officer 500 Zabadia is a lion. When we gather together and go to war, there's nobody that's going to stop us. You understand? We went out to camp in Montreal. What was that, 2 weeks ago?
Come on.
You got 4 brothers telling these devils, you are the devil the Bible speaks of.
Right.
You guys are a disgusting race of people.
That's right.
The Most High is going to destroy you. And nobody could do a damn thing about it.
Right.
You understand? Like that's 4 people. Salaki, let's keep reading. What's Salaki, Braki Allah, grab Leviticus 26 and verse 8.
And Salakia Akia, right? Like that camp in Montreal was absolutely fire, right? Those tapes are out right now. More tapes are coming soon, right? We just want to give a very big shout out to the sisters, because again, like we went to war, we came back, and there was a feast ready for us, and So I don't know who made that lasagna. Lasagna. Shoot, I tried to go back with some more. It was gone. So, we know that brotherhood has sisterhood as well, right? So,
right.
I just want to say that right quick.
God damn right, sir. God damn right. Salaki, Brock, Allah, drop that verse when you got it.
Leviticus 26, verse 8. And 5 of you shall chase 100.
5 of you shall what?
100 of you shall put 10,000. And 5 of you shall chase 100.
God, we were 4 brothers strong.
Salaki, the one. We were 5, sir. God, sir. That's the scripture.
God, we were 5 brothers strong. Salaki. You understand? Like that's the power that the Most High will give you if you just listen to what he says. Right? Keep reading.
100 of you shall put 10,000 to flight. And your enemy shall fall before you.
You understand? Officer Adia brought it back wet. You understand? Officer Zabadia brought it back wet. Like he killed it out there. You understand? Like, man, Salakia. I don't know how many people got cut up that day. You understand? But that was a glorious thing in my sight.
God, Most High in Christ.
Most High in Christ, Salakia. You understand? And like Christians don't understand the Bible. Like they think we're gonna die and go to some kingdom of heaven. We're gonna die and go live in the sky in some clouds. Like Christ is waiting for brothers to build this kingdom. You understand? When Christ comes back, like there's going to be a kingdom waiting for him. There's going to be brothers ready to obey him, to fight for him, to fight with him. You understand? We're building this kingdom from the bottom up. And this is what we got to stay focused on. Right? Let's jump back to First Maccabees. Let's go First Maccabees chapter 3 and verse 18.
Okay. First Maccabees chapter 3 verse 18. Unto whom Judas answered, it is a little hard matter for many to be shut up in the land of a few. And with the God of heaven, it is also one to deliver with a great multitude or a small company.
Like these devils that are in power over us, it is a small thing for the Most High to destroy them. You understand? Like Officer Zabadia says it all the time. The Most High sneeze, and look how many people died of COVID. You understand? Like it is a small thing for the Most High to destroy this nation. There is nothing anybody can do to stop it. What did that article say? It said, even though people are out fully vaccinated now, this is the most deaths that Canada has seen in the month of October from COVID. Like there is nothing you can do to stop this. And that's the power that we gotta have fight for us. You understand? Like we really gotta get locked in and really pay attention to the instructions that the Most High is giving us. Right? Like General Mahaiman says, we gotta make it our job to follow order. Make your election sure and follow order. We don't have to come out with some new great and wonderful idea. We just got to focus on following what the men above us has set out. We just got to follow and stay focused on how do we carry out these instructions? How do I make sure I get done what the person above me is ordering me to do? You understand? Like this would fix COVID. This would fix every issue in our community. Right? Keep reading.
Come. Maccabees chapters, First Maccabees chapter 3, verse 19. For the victory of the battle standeth not in the multitude of an host, but strength cometh from heaven.
John, that's where our strength comes from. Salaki Braki Allah, can you grab 1 Corinthians chapter 1 and verse 10? And Trooper Satham, can you grab Ephesians 4 and verse 4, Baba Kasha?
Okay.
Right? Again, you read through the book of Maccabees, you'll read about some of the history of the children of Israel. You jump down to Maccabees chapter 4, starting around verse 50. You can start to read about the Feast of Dedication. Right? Read about the feast that you should be keeping. Black man, Hispanic man, Native American man and woman. You understand? Those are the feasts that we need to be keeping. And that book of Maccabees has a lot of our history. All right? Salaki Braki, let me catch up with you. Hold on. 1 Corinthians chapter 1. Chapter 1 and verse 10. Go ahead and read it when you got it.
Is the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 1. Now I beseech you, brethren, by the name of our Lord YAHANNA, that speak the same thing.
That you all what?
And that there are divisions among you. Same thing.
God. Salakia Barakia Allah. Do you know any organization outside of the I.S.U.P.K where people speak the same thing?
A lot of them.
That's an honest question. And my honest answer is I don't know anybody. I don't know any organization that does this. I don't know any nation of people that do this. And this is a powerful thing that the disciples are telling Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans to do. Gather together and speak the same thing. Right? I don't know how many times that I'll be with officers of body or somebody will say something and the officers of body will say the exact thing I was thinking. He'll give the exact example I was thinking. He'll pull the exact precept I was thinking. You understand? You're not going to find that unity inside the Christian church. You have some 2,000 different denominations. There is no unity inside the Christian church.
Confusion.
You understand? There is no unity in these fake Hebrew Israelite groups. You understand? I saw this one group. They had a group out in, I think it was Seattle. And they were saying the mark of the beast was some chip, some computer chip. And then the same group who's in California was saying the mark of the beast was something else. There is no unity outside of the I.S.U.P.K. And this is how you know it's the home of the truth. This is the only place on earth you will find where we do everything that the scriptures say. Right down to standing on a pulpit of wood and reading and having somebody read for us from a Bible. Having somebody read for a prophet as he prophesies to the people. You understand? Sir.
That's definitely heavy what you're saying, because there isn't any unity outside of the UPK, right? Like, for example, if you go to Cross the Line Radio on YouTube, you'll see a battle on Clubhouse. Captain Katazan, he was battling some Israelite Christians, right? Now, one brother set it up so the UPK could battle these Israelite Christians, right? Invited the UPK into the room. The Israelite Christians were getting cut up so bad that the fake leader of that Christian group turned around and he basically checked that brother live in front of everybody in real time. Right? Now, I can have Officer Shaw can have an issue with me, right? We can have an issue right now live in this class. You're not gonna know about it, because that's brotherhood. Officer Shaw he's gonna come to me and me alone, right? He's gonna hit me up and say, Salakia, sir, you know, there was an issue. I'm gonna say, Khan, I got you, I heard you, my bad, right? And if I don't, he's gonna say, Salakia, sir, we're going to counsel. But you're not gonna know about it, because that's what brotherhood is. Because most importantly is the brotherhood that the brotherhood and sisterhood that the brothers and sisters have in the UPK. That's what's most important. That's how we're gonna get the kingdom. Because brotherhood is gonna make you not sin. Because if I sin, I know that I'm putting my nation in danger. And I can't say I love my nation. I can't say I love my brothers and sisters and then turn around and be a damn sinner. Right? I can't say I love my brothers and sisters and then try to sleep with my brother's wife like every pastor does. Salakia.
Yeah. All right, damn right, sir. God, Salakia, Braki, Allah, are we gonna say something? Khan. Yeah, Khan, so what you brought up was so heavy and true. You understand? Like, unity is everything for our people. You understand? Like, if the scriptures say, gather yourself together, O nation not desired. Like right off the jump, we got to understand who we are as a people. Like, we have a nation, we have a culture, we have a God, we have rules, we have instruction, we have something that should unify all of us. And that's what we got to come back to. That's the spirit of brotherhood. That's what all these classes are about.
Right.
Learning how to deal with one another as brothers. Right? Your Christian pastor is telling you that hate isn't in the Bible. When it says in the book of Proverbs, the Most High hates. He hates people that sow discord amongst brethren. We're not supposed to be divided. Nobody's going to see me and officers of body of fighting. Because we have brotherhood. We got an issue, we'll work it out. It's no big deal.
Damn right.
But we'll move forward as brothers.
Right.
All right. Salaki, a quick shout out to the chat. Shalom, Jules. I'm not sure if you're a brother or a sister. Shalom, Tyrone Jackson. Yahba Shem Shabrakatha. Salaki Braki, Allah, finish out that verse for me, Baba Kasha.
That you all speak the same thing, and there be no divisions among you. together in the same mind and in the same
Come. We're not supposed to have divisions amongst us. You understand? We're supposed to be unified. You understand? Not only unified, but perfectly joined together. You understand? That is a hard thing to accomplish. How many blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans do you know that are fighting with each other? How many brothers and sisters going to war against each other? Father against son, mother against daughter. And that's a sad thing for the Most High to see. He doesn't want to see brothers fighting with each other. Actually, matter of fact, Brachel, can you grab Ezekiel chapter 36? What verse is that? Ezekiel. Slack. Let me see if I can find that really quick.
Salakia Akim, I gotta step out real quick. Yahweh Bashem Yahshai Barakathum, right? It's Yahweh Shemar Alathum Bashem Yahshai to all the sisters, right? This is Tawab class. Y'all keep it up.
Con, sir.
Con,
sir.
Yahweh Bashem Barakathum.
Con, so Salaki Brachel, grab Ezekiel 37 and 15 for me. Babu Shah.
Khan. This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 30 and verse 15. The word of the Lord came again to me, saying.
Keep reading.
Verse 16. Moreover, and write upon it for Judah and for the children of Israel his companions, and take another stick and write upon it for Joseph the stick of Ephraim, and for all the house of Israel his companions.
Con, so Ezekiel was prophesying something that was going to take place. Keep reading.
Verse 17. And join one to another, and it shall become one in thy hand.
Con. Because something we got to realize in our history, there was a time where the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom split. There is a time in our history where our brotherhood was strong. We were all united. And then we split. And for all the pastors going around teaching that Christ has come so that he can now save other people, other nations and races of people, they're teaching that garbage because they don't understand the Bible. They don't understand the history of the children of Israel. Christ is joining the two candlesticks back together, joining the sticks together, bringing in that wild olive tree, bringing Israel and Judah back together, uniting our family, uniting the brotherhood. This is what the Most High wants for us. He doesn't want division. You understand? He wants the children of Israel to be unified. He wants to see brothers getting along. He wants to see brothers and their ribs getting along. You understand? He doesn't want to see fathers fighting with their kids. He wants unity for our family. You understand? No sweat, Jules Charm. Yahweh Shamar Lathan Bashim El Shai. The water for tuning in, sis. Salakia for that. You understand? The Most High wants unity for us. He doesn't want us to be unified to these oppressors, celebrating Halloween, right? Celebrating Christmas, Thanksgiving, all these other feast days. He wants us remembering the wars that our forefathers fought. Remembering the wars and the battles that our family fought and won. Remembering our victories over the Egyptians, over the Greeks. You understand? This Bible is a book of brotherhood. This Bible's instructions on how to treat one another. Right, let's drop that. Satham, can you were holding a verse for me? I think we were in Ephesians.
Ephesians chapter 4, verse 4.
Go ahead and read that. You got it?
There is one body and one spirit, even as ye are called in one hope of your calling.
Right? There's one body, one spirit. You understand? So like you jump up one verse.
Ephesians chapter 4, verse 3. Endeavoring to keep the unity of the Spirit in the bond of peace.
This is what we need to be striving for. Striving for unity. Learning to be long-suffering for one another. To be humble. To forbear one another. You understand? Learning how to communicate and deal with one another. How to solve our issues. You understand? Not to go around gossiping behind each other's backs, but to genuinely look out for one another. To correct one another, fix one another when we go off. You understand? To suffer for one another. Not like that clip that we watched from 50 Cent saying, it's not my responsibility to help my people now that I got all this money. That's not suffering. That's selfishness. You understand? We can't have a cold heart towards one another. But to look at another Black, Hispanic, and Native American man as ourself and want better for one another. Right? Keep reading.
Would you like me to read the 4 or skip over the 4 to 5?
You can go verse 5.
Ephesians chapter 4, verse 5. One Lord, one faith, one baptism.
Right? There's one Lord. The Most High is giving us laws, statutes, and commandments. And that's who we are to obey. There's one faith. You can't be a Muslim and a Christian and follow the Most High. You understand? There's only one truth, one doctrine, one faith. And that's the one that Yahawashi told us. The one that Yahawashi, who the world calls Christ, taught us. And what did he say? You recognize who my disciples are because they have brotherly love. They have compassion on one another. Those are the men that follow me. Those are the sisters that follow me. ones who love one another. Right? Keep reading.
Ephesians 4 verse 6. One God and Father of all, who is above all, and through all, and in you all.
Jump down to verse 10, Baba Kasha. Jump down to verse 13.
Ephesians 4 verse 13. Till we all come in the unity of the faith, and of the knowledge of the Son of God, unto the perfect man, unto the measures of the statutes of the fulfillment of Yahushua.
You want to become a perfect man, as Christ commanded, right? You got to learn brotherhood. You got to learn sisterhood. You got to learn unity. How to bear one another's burdens. You understand? This is what Christ wanted for us. Right? You got pastors going around teaching that we should love these devils that were lynching and hanging, burning women and children alive, kicking us off our land. Your Christian pastor would have you believe those are the enemies you need to love. Those are the people you need to be unified with. The ones who are putting crack in your neighborhood and laughing at your destruction. Salaki, Brakia Allah, can you grab Joel chapter 3 and verse 3? You understand? Just a little side rant. Joel chapter 3 and verse 3. Like these Christian pastors would honestly have you believe that the enemies you need to love are the people who have raped, robbed, and murdered everything from you. Right? Go ahead and read that verse when you got it.
This is the book of Joel, chapter 3. Who also eat the flesh of my people and flay their skin from off them, and they break their bones and chop in pieces the pot and as flesh within the cauldron.
Right. And they have cast lots for my people. These nations have cast lots for the children of Israel. Meaning, these Edomites have got together with Moab, and they've got with the Ishmaelites. They've got together with Ammon, and they're rolling dice. They're casting lots. They're playing games. Right? Psalms 83 says they're confederate against us. These other nations are laughing at us, taking us for a joke. And it says, and have given a boy for an harlot, and sold a girl for wine, that they may drink. These damn devils are going into New York, stealing 13-year-old girls and selling them across the globe in sex trafficking. These devils are selling our sisters to some nasty Hamite as some sex slave. And they're laughing at it like it's a game, like it's a joke. How many indigenous women are going missing? These nations are oppressing us. These nations are doing disgusting things to the daughters of Zion, turning our boys into girls, right? They got Dwayne Wade's son dressed up like a girl, advertising it across the whole globe. Like it's some joke, like it's some game. Like it's cute to see a young man being all feminine. And this is the enemies your Christian pastor wants you to love. These are the enemies your Christian pastor wants you to forgive. You understand? Christianity is the worst thing to happen to our people. Because that enemy Christ was talking about was your brother. That woman that you argue with every day. That son that you fight with every day. That cousin that did something to you that rubbed you the wrong way. That Black, Hispanic, and Native American man that grew up in your hood that rubbed you the wrong way. That's who Christ wants you to forgive. That's who Christ wants you to love. Your brother, your neighbor, your countryman, your kinsman, your friend, the people next to you who grew up in your yard, grew up in your hood. These are the people that we got to forgive. These are the people that we got to have compassion for so that we don't have to continue living under these devils. Right? So, Laki, what verse were we in Ephesians?
We finished 13, on 14.
What are we for time? 140? Let's grab two more verses. Barak Yala, can you grab Psalms 133 and verse 1? Baba Kasha. And Trooper Satham, can you grab Zechariah chapter 2 and verse 1?
Oh, okay.
Psalms 133 and verse 1 on 1.
Kana.
Is the book of Psalms, chapter 1. Behold, how good, how pleasant it is together in unity.
Khan, it's such a beautiful thing for Black, Hispanic, and Native American men and women to come together and dwell in unity. You understand? That is the heart of the Most High. To see the family, to see the brotherhood united, to see sisters united. You understand? To be able to gather together and remember their forefathers and what they did. Remember the Feast of Dedication and the war that Judas Maccabeus won. And all the men that fought with him. You understand? To come together in unity. Right? Like you can't Slack, let's grab one more verse. What verse is that? I think that's Amos. I'll bring it out. This is the book of Amos, chapter 3 and verse 3. And it says, can two walk together unless they be agreed? Like that's a question. Imagine driving to a parking lot at a mall, getting out of the car with your rib and saying, hey, I'm gonna go grocery shopping. And she says, no, let's not go grocery shopping right now. I got some shopping I want to do on the other side of the mall. That's not unity. That's not being in agreement. You can't have one person go one way, one person go another. You understand? You got to be in unity with each other. Otherwise, you're not going to accomplish anything. You're not going to get anything done. Salaki, what's up? Salaki, I might be lagging a bit. But you understand, you got to be in agreement with each other. You got to be in unity with each other. And if you could achieve that, like Psalms 133 and 1, it's such a beautiful thing. You understand? It's a beautiful thing to see a black household in order, Hispanic and Native American household in order. Everybody working together and getting things done. You understand? That's how we got to be as a nation. Right? Let's drop that. Trooper Satham, you were holding a verse for me?
Go on. Zechariah chapter 2 verse 1. I lifted up my eyes again and looked, and behold, a man with a measuring line in his hand. Verse 2. Then I said,
Salaki, hold on. You're in Zechariah chapter 2 and verse 1?
Come.
Oh, Salaki. I want Zephaniah.
Definitely, come.
Grab Zephaniah 2 and 1 for me, Baba Kasha.
Come. Zephaniah chapter 2 verse 1. Gather yourselves together, ye, gather together, O nation not desired.
You understand? Like, you're going to hear this verse brought out so many times in Brotherhood classes because this is such a milk scripture. You understand? This is the foundation to where we are as a nation and where we need to be. You understand? Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, you are that nation that is not desired. You are that nation that other people are laughing at. Other nations are playing games, mocking you, looking at you like you're less than, telling you that you're niggers and spicks. You understand? The whole world is kicking the Black, Hispanic, and Native American man down, telling you that you're less than. You are that nation that is undesired. You are that nation that the scriptures are speaking of. You are the salt of the earth that the scriptures are speaking about. And the day you gather together is the day you're going to see that sky crack open and 200 million angels fall out of the sky. You understand? The day we all gather together and unite and build this kingdom, you understand, is the day we'll take over this earth. You understand? That is, it's not a small thing. What does Captain Mashak say? He said, Michael Jordan, Christ walked on air. Michael Jordan walked on air. Or Slack, Christ walked on water. You understand? Michael Jordan walked on air. Like the things that we're capable of achieving, no nation can stop us. Right? We just got to gather our minds together. You understand? Gather our minds, gather our funds, fix the Black household, fix our neighborhoods, come together as a people on one accord, unified, fighting for the same cause. Right? This is what we got to do as a people. And with that, I'm going to end Tuesday's night Brotherhood class. Let's clap it up. All right, we're going to give the I.S.U.P.K security announcements. Make sure you guys hit that sign out link before you leave the class. All right, like, share, subscribe to our YouTube channel and our Facebook. All right, going to give the I.S.U.P.K security announcements. We are the I.S.U.P.K, which will start out at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rule for new brothers and sisters. When a new brother comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are here to shed themselves of the world. They need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After the 6-month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. You can find it in Numbers 18, verse 21, and Malachi chapter 3, verses 8 to 10. Means tenth in the Hebrew, ma'ashra, 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives, give to the treasury department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests is not mandatory, whatsoever amount you would like. Upcoming holy convocations. We have the Feast of Dedication coming up, also known as Hanukkah in the Hebrew. It's on the 25th day of the 9th month by the space of 8 days, which will be on this Sunday, the 28th of November. All right, you can read about that in the book of Maccabees. First Maccabees chapter 4, verses 52 to verse 61. That said, men of Israel, imajim, which means stand. We're going to give a courtesy salute to the brothers and a courtesy salute to the sisters. All right, men of Israel, imajim Shabbat, imajim, Barak, Yah Bashim
Yashabaktam.
Yad Yamata, Sar Akwathim, which means turn and face the sisters. Men of Israel, imajim Shabbat, imajim, Barak, Yahweh Shamar Alathan Bashim Yad Yamata. Class dismissed.
All jokes aside, you know how niggas be like, I'm this and that for life. This and that for life. I'm always for life, nigga. This a blow. Hey, yo, Madara. Here go a class for you, my nigga. 140 for the road. The world turned its back on me. I'm a cripple. We got soldiers. He got soldiers, but I got different ones. Ain't no way out. I tell you what. Don't pray for nothing in the curse. We can't forgive what's forbidden. Remain in the trenches. Trust in the Lord, but please forgive me for the times that I did. If rank is given, have your respect to your apprentice. Be about your business. This Lord teaching death sentence. Look, trying to pick up with a blind foot. They said there'll be many matches. I'm just grinding for my time share. The devils they plan fair. They hunt you like bad pill. But ain't no getting out the game like you munching. You take that office a Dundee. They try to deal death to a priest. You won't make it out in one piece. So you can stand. Just make sure you got the heart. Say your name 3 times. It is death to his part. So how you feel about this truth I done shown? This ain't